Hey guys, it's KOKOStern and I just finished BioShock Infinite and this is an afterthought. Now we're gonna do two parts because there's a lot to talk about and also there are things that I can't tell you right now. So the things that we do love to talk about are one, the mechanics and everything that has to do with actually playing the game, and the second thing is obviously the story and the narrative. And the story and the narrative and everything that goes with that is a huge freaking spoiler, and we're not going to do it in this episode, in this part. Now we're going to talk about mechanics. Next part, we're going to talk about the story and spoil everything, so make sure you watch the second part only after you finish the game yourself. This part, we're going to talk about mechanics, and I guess spoiling how you play the game is the spoiler. If that bothers you, don't watch this as well. So, we talked a little bit about this in Biased Beginnings, and now I've finally finished the game, and I have to say, I'm pretty freaking happy. I'm happy with the mechanics because the thing that makes that really scared me is that it's going to be super freaking easy. And the main thing is because of the shield. You have a recharging shield, and you take a little bit of damage and the shield just goes down, and then you hide under cover, you wait 3 seconds, and then it goes back up. And that's it. And simply, you can always, that resource is a rechargeable resource. And when you play a game, you have all kinds of resources, which comes from your HP, your mana, or whatever you want to call it, salts in this game, your ammunition. And when you have a rechargeable one, it makes everything easier. And recharging health is I thought it would make the game easier. And the game was very simple. It was very freaking simple. Up to a certain point. And then it became increasingly really hard. Towards the end, it became a couple of really good difficulty scenarios. So I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the fact that it did become difficult. And they managed to do that pretty well. Another thing about resource management is the fact that you can only carry 2 guns. Normally, in BioShock 1 at least, you could carry all the guns and have ammunition for all of them. In this one, you can have ammunition for all the guns, but you don't actually hold the gun. Which means that you have to, you only have 2 guns, and if you find another one, you can use it. But if you don't find it, you can't use it, and you only have the 2. And I personally walk around with a sniper rifle and shotgun all the time, but I can switch to a machine gun that someone dropped and unload the entirety of its contents and pick up my shotgun once again, and I'm full in terms of resources. Yeah, I don't have machine gun ammo, but I don't care about machine gun because I don't use it. And that also made the game easier. Now, another big part that made the game easier is the fact you have Elizabeth with you. Elizabeth, again, aren't really I don't consider this spoilers because you know you're going to meet Elizabeth, and she can tear up tears in space-time and bring in things. So you actually have things in the battlefield, in the area that you're in, that you can bring into the game. And on top of that, she also gives you stuff. If you're low on ammo, HP, or salts, she might, in the middle of combat, say, "Hey, I found this," and throws it to you. Now, it has a pretty big cooldown. It will usually happen once per fight. It never happened to me more than once per fight, I believe, unless it was a really extended fight. And she'll just refill you. So if you almost die but you survive with a nick, she'll give you health. And if you have no more salts, she'll give you salts. And if you're almost running out of ammo, she'll give you ammo. Which makes the game a lot easier. Which is just, it really makes the game so much easier. And another thing are actually the tears. You can only open up 1 tear at a time. But in most cases, you only need to tear it to get it open 1 time. A good example is when there's a tear with a specific gun. So you take the gun, you switch it up, and then you can open a different tear because you actually have the gun. And even if you just want to use it later, you can, again, pick up the gun that you just left. Let's say I have a shotgun, there's a crank gun. I pick up the crank gun, and the shotgun goes on the floor, and then I have the crank gun, but I don't want to use it right now, so I switch it for the shotgun again, and now the crank gun is on the floor. And the tears, it could do whatever I want with the tears. So I basically just took a crank gun from a tear. And outside from that, you also have actually machines that you bring in to assist you. And these are infinite, which is a bad thing in terms of difficulty. It makes it easier, because what I can do is open up that machine gun turret, and then it shoots, and then it dies, and then I open up a medkit tear that I don't even need to use, and then I wait a little bit, and then I reopen the one with the machine gun turret, and there's a new machine gun turret there. So unless I'm being rushed at, or in other words, unless there are people with shotguns, because they're the only ones that rush at you, or melee people, melee enemies, then I can just open it, it dies, open another one, open it, dies, open the medkit one, and just repeat that forever until everything dies around me. So that's even more rechargeable resources around you. And the more rechargeable resources, the easier the situation gets, no matter what you do. Now, in terms of ammunition, you also have infinity ammunition. So, I mean, there's so much ammunition all around you, and even if you run out of one gun, there's a ton of other guns around you at all times. So in sense of ammunition and resources, you have a ton of them, and the only thing they can really do is pressure you. If they pressure you enough in a current situation, then you might actually die. And if there's other things that you need to deal with and care about other than your own resources, then those from those areas can come difficulty. And there are a couple of areas that are pressured, in a sense, and the difficulty is like, I felt the difficulty. The last fight, specifically, last boss, then I'm not going to talk too much about because I don't want to spoil. I'm just going to say the last thing that you do, boss fight, whatever it is, I'm not going to say anything other than that, is incredibly disappointing for me. That was incredibly disappointing, but everything up to that was pretty much ramped up. Not too difficult again, because most of them are just huge battlefields and there's a ton of enemies, and I just take my time taking them off with my infinite resources. But there are like a couple that were a bit difficult and I actually enjoyed in that sense, but the game isn't difficult. The game is pretty freaking easy, and mostly of what you want to look at is the story in that sense. The game is fun, and it's fun. It's a good game in terms of the game of mechanics. Again, I feel pretty bad about the shield. I would like resources in terms of potions. I do like that way more than a rechargeable shield. I hate rechargeable health or shields because it makes the game so easy. But that was a decision that they made, and I can't do much about it. Other than that, one more thing I would like to say about the music. There is a cool plot element that you'll understand about the music in the game. So I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to say I hate it. It's pretty horrible. I get it, but it's horrible. And I really don't like that. But some of the music is nice. I just don't like the plot elements around it. And the graphics are mesmerizing. There's nothing to say about that. And that's it. In terms of mechanics, I was pretty scared. Everything that I thought will happen happened in terms of having infinite resources, but it's okay. And that's it. Now that's it for this part of the mechanics. You should buy this game and play it in terms of mechanics, because it's really wonderful. About the story, I'll talk in the second part, and please don't watch it if you plan on playing this game. And that's it. That's for me. Thank you very much for watching, and check out part 2 once you finish the game. See ya.